How's it going, guys? Today I'm going to be showing you how to make a sick UK garage bass like Dusky. I actually saw Dusky a couple years back up in Birmingham. They were very good. Although their set wasn't what I expected. I expected them to play a sort of UK garage or deep house set, but it was actually more techno, but still a very good night regardless. If you have the chance to go see him, I definitely recommend it. Today I'm going to be showing you how to make Dusky's track Heaven. Here's a preview of my remake and what you'll have made by the end of the video. Let's firstly start with the drums. So yeah, as you can hear, these are really nice and sort of airy, but also quite heavy drums. The way I've made them airy is with this reverb. If we solo the top loop and we take the reverb off, it's got a nice bit of swing to it. It is actually a loop from my Speed Garage Volume 3 drums pack. So yeah, you can get that from the link in the description. So yeah, this pack's got loads of different loops for making sick Speed Garage. If we go through a few of them now, here's some of the top loops. So yeah, you can just drag and drop them into any DAW and obviously see how they sound. It's always a great idea to just sample different ones, especially when you've got like the kick and the bass, to see what top loop works best with like the groove of the track. So yeah, then top loop, I then added this drum bus. This is basically just to make it louder. I could have just turned the volume up like this, gain, or whatever. And then I've used this reverb. With quite a high amount, so 27% wet, just because on the original, their drums, it really sounded like they've put a lot of reverb onto it, so I thought I'd match it and do the same. In terms of the kick, it's just a kick from that same pack. All the kicks in that pack are really nice and thumpy. Now we've got the drums out of the way, let's move on to the main component of the sound, which is this bass. Great, so this bass is made in Serum. I'm going to show you how to make it from scratch. Just to let you know, if you've got the Speed Garage Volume 2 Serum preset pack, then it is the Reese Heaven preset. So you can just scroll through and select the Reese Heaven preset. You don't have to make it yourself from scratch. You can get this preset pack from the link in the description. It's got over 60 of the sickest presets for making modern Speed Garage. So it covers loads of artists like Notion, Interplanetary Criminal, Ketema, all the sort of new Speed Garage bangs that have come out over the past sort of year. Great, so firstly, initiate the preset. Go to oscillator A, analog, DS saw, and triangle. This is going to give you a saw wave. You then want to put the exact same one into oscillator B, so DS saw and triangle. This is actually one of my favorite sort of waveforms. It's really nice and thick. We then need to pitch that down by 2 octaves, both of them. Really loud, as you can hear. Oscillator B, pitch up by 20. And then the fine tune of oscillator A, go to about minus 27. I mean, you could keep that as it is, but we're also going to make it sound more like Heaven. So sub, minus 2 octaves. This just helps, gives it some really nice low frequencies. If we solo this. Really nice pure sort of sine wave. We can also use this one. It's like that, but a little bit more like distorted. So yeah, now we can turn on the filter, although we're not really going to be taking out many frequencies. Change to an MG low 18, put the cutoff pretty much all the way up, add a bit of drive, could even add a bit of fat, it's up to you. Put it maybe to about here. Great, and lastly, just put the random all the way down, so it just means it starts the exact same part every time. You can also have it up, it's kind of up to you, but yeah, I like to just put it down. Great, now we've got the main sound, we can add some effects. Great, so the first effect we're going to add is this hyper dimension. Let's firstly start with the hyper section, so let's turn it on, and let's make sure we bring that to about 23. Bring this down for now. Detune it a little bit less, or a little bit more, sorry. Bring that down. And now we can work on the dimension. So let's turn that size down and let's slowly bring in the mix. About 64%. If we turn it off, turn it on. You can obviously play around with this more, but this is a sort of rough setting that I've got on my preset. But yeah, you could maybe turn the detune down, bring the mix up on the hyper wet. And then it does cause a bit more sort of phasing. So yeah, I don't know, I'll sort of probably leave it how I got it, to be honest. Great, the next thing we can add is a filter. So I know on my one, I added a filter. Let's just move it up. I selected the comb. This isn't necessarily a necessary step, but you can just basically add more frequencies and stuff like that. So I'll show you. Add a sort of comb filter and create more sort of resonances. This isn't a necessary step, and I kept this quite minimal on mine with like quite a low dry wet of about 90%. But again, yeah, I'm going to turn it off now because it's not necessary, but obviously, yeah, you can play around and make the sound a little bit more unique. Great, next we've got this compression. Let's turn the dry wet down to about 50%. Make sure the gain's about 5 or 6. Bring that attack down. Cool, and now let's add some reverb. So you can use a hall or you can use a plate. Although the plate on this doesn't sound too good with that bass, so let's keep it with hall. Just add a little bit, 18%. We can then go and add an external one. So if you listen to theirs, they definitely use a plate reverb. So we can go onto here, find plates, and I don't know, maybe a dark plate. Not too big on that, maybe a little bit too dark. This is Valhalla Vintage Verb. I don't know why it's looking a bit funny at the top. So yeah, if we go to other plates, go to ambient plate, bring up that decay, bring that mix down. This basically means when you get to these end notes, there's still going to be lots of like sort of bass noise and reverb playing here, but that's still obviously too much. Let's bring that down to about 22%. This means there's a nice bit of tail. Even bring that down and add more mix. Then you are going to sort of wash out the sound. So yeah, you don't want to put the mix up too high. Probably leave it under 20%. And let's hear what we've got. Maybe bring that cutoff up a bit more. A and B, make sure they're both selected. You can even add more top end, so let's add an EQ. Just boost a little bit of gain. You can also do this externally. Probably be more accurate if you do it externally, so we do it like that. Great guys, thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed that video and learned something new. I will see you next week with another Speed Garage video. Cheers!